I'm still alive, and in my effort to completely kill our channel's viewership, today we're going to be talking about history. Okay, that was a joke because this is actually very interesting. My favorite thing within history to learn about has always been the Roman Empire. I always found it fascinating to learn about the empire that conquered the world and maintained control over so much of it for so long. But earlier today I learned about a Roman general who I'd somehow never heard of before. His name is Belisarius, and he single-handedly saved Rome. Twice. That is not an exaggeration, but I am getting ahead of myself a little bit. So Belisarius was a general in the Byzantine Empire, formerly known as the Roman Empire, during the rule of Justinian I. And at this time, the Roman Empire was really just a shadow of its former self. About 100 years prior, it had split into the Eastern and Western Roman Empire, and now the Western Roman Empire was almost entirely gone. The Byzantine Empire no longer controlled Italy, where the former capital of Rome was, and they also no longer controlled North Africa. After a string of relatively minor defeats, General Belisarius successfully defeated the Sassanid Persians so conclusively that it caused him to open up peace negotiations with the Byzantine Empire. This caused him to gain the trust of the new Emperor Justinian I, and it began a decades-long partnership. I am oversimplifying a bit here. Oh. That's why you call this channel that. Anyway, in 533 CE, Justinian ordered the reconquering of the Vandal Kingdom, which now controlled the formerly Roman-owned North Africa. They had previously gained control of North Africa, which contains Carthage, through the 3 Punic Wars. Anyway, Justinian sent in Belisarius to do the job, along with 15,000 other soldiers. And within just 9 months, Belisarius recaptured North Africa. That kind of speed is unheard of, and when Belisarius reached the capital of Carthage, he chose not to become a governor and instead returned to Constantinople. This cemented his loyalty to the emperor, and it caused Justinian to trust him much more. He would return to Carthage just a couple years later to put down a revolt, before heading off to Italy. Now trusting Belisarius, Justinian ordered him to take down the Ostrogothic kingdom, which controlled much of Italy. Within a little under 2 years and just 8,000 soldiers, Belisarius reclaimed Sicily, Rome itself, Naples, and Tuscany. Again, this speed is sort of crazy, and it was the first time in 50 years that Rome itself was back under the empire's control. He fought through northern Italy until 539 CE, until he was ordered by Justinian to launch a campaign onto Persia. However, while he was on this new conquest, there were problems back in Italy. A man named Totila, who was now the king of the Ostrogoths who had previously claimed Rome, was getting ready to re-attack the city. Records show that he was planning to destroy it, and he would have, if not for Belisarius. The general was too far away to save Rome militarily, but he was able to send a letter to Totila. The letter was brief, but it essentially told Totila that he should not destroy Rome if he were to recapture it. Belisarius spoke of the beauty of the city and how Totila should not destroy this beautiful place once it was under his control. Totila successfully took over Rome, but he did not destroy it because of Belisarius' letter. And that is insane. This man saved Rome and hundreds of years worth of history from being destroyed with literally just a letter to his enemy. Alright, now I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Italy was eventually reclaimed by Belisarius, and then he retired from military life in 551 CE. He moved back to the capital of Constantinople, which is modern-day Istanbul. However, he was called out of retirement once in 559 by Justinian himself, because a force of 7,000 Huns were coming to attack the city, and all that Belisarius had to stop them was 300 veteran soldiers and 1,000 refugee civilians. 2,000 of the Huns attacked, and Belisarius placed his 100 men there to block their attack, and then put 200 on either side of them. Then he had the 1,000 civilians behind him just make a ton of noise. But the Huns were confused, thinking they were facing a much larger army, which was when Belisarius hit them with his force of 300 veterans. But the Huns retreated, and Belisarius hounded and harassed them all the way until they were out of the empire. Belisarius was hailed as a hero because of course he was. He repelled an attack of 7,000 warriors with just 300 men. Belisarius and Justinian died just 6 years later. Belisarius expanded the Byzantine Empire by 45% and is considered to be the last of the great Roman generals. And honestly, I have to agree. Think what would have happened without him. Rome would have been destroyed, the Western Roman Empire never would have been reclaimed, and Constantinople would have fallen to the Huns. The Byzantine Empire lasted for another nearly 900 years after his death, until 1453 CE. But it might not have the legacy it has today if the Huns had taken Constantinople. Or perhaps we would not know what we do today about Rome if the city had been destroyed. Now Belisarius, I'm pretty sure, was personally not a great person, and he definitely did some bad stuff, but his accomplishments for history are incredible. Alright, I know this was a pretty different video, but I honestly just deep dived into this guy in Wikipedia and I really wanted to talk about it. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and Nate, I'll see you tomorrow.